If there's really pain there for you, you have to be willing to feel it and step into it to let more light in.
When you're chasing light and shadow scares you, why would you want to sit in shadow?
Hmm.
It is dark,
It's a beautiful visual.
it is scary, it is cold. And to sit there, some of my most sacred moments in my life is to sit in my shadow. Those dragons, not to run from them, to hug my dragons. It's beautiful.
It sucks to experience more pain, but if you can start to heal from that, the love is deeper.
Acting on emotions as guides to truth. Stillness. Surrendering to what is. Seeking. Using my gifts with purpose. Light. This is the emotional blueprint.
Why do people get stuck? More specifically, why is it that some people experience pain, emotional pain, hurt centers get? Why is it that some people experience pain, but it doesn't go away? Aren't I supposed to be feeling relief and a lightness, like Corey and Kimberly said?
Yeah.
So I'm experiencing pain. It's really there. I'm experiencing it, but it's not going away. I want to share a thought on this and I want to get your thoughts. The reason why you are experiencing pain and it's not going away is because there's a really big difference between experiencing pain and feeling it. Okay. All of us experience pain. I'm just going throughout my day and pain comes up and I'm experiencing it. I'm on the bus and I'm experiencing it. But then guess what? A week later, it's just as strong, sometimes even stronger.
Mhm.
Why is it not going away? Well, the important ingredient is I have to voluntarily be willing to go there for the pain to go away. I have to choose. Now, whatever that looks like, that can look like many different avenues, but there's something about I have to choose to bring it up on my own. I have to be the master of my world. I have to be willing. There's a willingness, like we were talking about. Pain often only goes away unless we are voluntarily bringing it up on our own. When it's coming up randomly, I'm not choosing for that to happen. It's just coming up randomly. But there's a difference. If I'm ready to let go of pain, there's a distinct difference of me choosing to go there. I don't understand it fully. I just have seen it too many times that when people voluntarily choose to go there, it starts to go away. But if they're not voluntarily choosing it, it goes back to what we were talking about, the shadow self. Am I running away from it?
Right.
Or am I integrating? Am I going towards it? Okay. That's, again, the Christian symbolism or reality of this is Christ chose. He was very intentional. He chose to feel pain. He wasn't just wandering around and being like, I guess I'll hang out in this garden and see what happens. No.
Yeah.
He chose it on purpose. He knew exactly. And I love the humanness of what he said in the Bible. He said, God, he didn't say these exact words, but God, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to go through this. So if it's possible, take this away from me. But if not, I will do it. The openness and the willingness to do whatever needed to happen. And then what happened for Christ? He then transcended his. And this is what you are experiencing. You are transcending your self. You are transcending the old Kimberly into the future you. And I cannot wait. There is going to be a day where the future Kimberly is actually the current Kimberly.
Oh.
You already know that. It's the future you.
Right? I cannot wait to hang with
So
her. She's so cool.
I believe that's going to happen for you sooner than you think.
Aw.
I think you actually You are, girl, you're so in tune. You already know this, but
I love that. What a sacred story. And there have been many times in my life where I have been in that garden with my brother, suffering with him, begging him to take this from me. Feeling like it would kill me, right? And as you're telling this story, I remember this one night where I was sitting with my pain. It was, you're rocking, you're crying, you're sweating. You're like, how is this possible? And yet it's like, stay with me. It's like as a mother who's giving birth, you're in those contractions, you have this pain, and you cannot be like, just
oh my
kidding.
goodness, yeah.
Psych. Like, you have to stay in it, whether it's 2 hours, 2 days, you are in that pain. And there is something saying, stay with this. There is this gift. When you have these breakdowns, to me, it's like I welcome them because I know there's a breakthrough on the other side.
So beautiful.
Right?
What you just said. Can you say that again? Say that again.
When I've experienced breakdowns, I now get excited because I know there's a breakthrough on the other side. If I can just stay with it.
If someone is ready and if they are willing to go there.
Yeah. So as you're telling this story, I have this visual. You guys, when Corey talks, I have these like little pictures that come into my mind.
You're my visual friend.
I just am like, there's a little visual. And I remember this one night and I'm sitting with this pain. It is not fun. And somehow this little vision comes up where I'm this little girl in my bed and I am terrified of the boogie monster in the closet. And I am feeling so scared. And right, this is symbolic of this thing that I cannot see, but that is running my life, this fear that is running my life. And I'm laying there and I'm like so scared. And I have this impression to stand up, walk over to that door and open it and scream in there as this little girl, is that all you got? Is that all you've got?
Wow.
And this black, huge thing just shrinks down. And I'm sitting there, is that all you've got? And I was able to take that fear. And that fear was like, oh, she sees me. This is all a lie. I'm just messing with her. And the jig is up. And that particular thing in my life that was running me, paralyzing me in fear. Poof. So.
And this is why you do not want to get on Kimberly's bad side.
Yeah.
She can. So nothing's changed. This is
all in my head. This is all happening in this beautiful spiritual realm of this subtleness of getting still, going towards it, being willing and going, I cannot have this. I'm so much more than this. I'm so much more than this fear. It's a lie. I cognitively know that, but my body, I mean, like I said, shaking, sweating, it is a somatic experience. And then you have these little breakthroughs and it's just a little pivot. It's just these little things of, there's nothing there.
So when you voluntarily, what is the benefit of choosing to go towards my pain? You are literally tapping into the power of Christ. If you don't believe that, you are literally tapping into the power of strength. You become strong. There's a turning point every single time with everyone that I've worked with. The turning point is this: when they get to a point, either in my office, even better outside my office, when they choose to feel pain and then they experience the relief that comes from that, even though there's still more work to do after that, like we've talked about, but they experience game changer. Mm-hmm. Whoa, this stuff is actually real. It's not just talked about. It's a real thing. I can really let go. this pain, and it can really go away. It's like the most beautiful
Mhm.
part of life. It's like what makes us human. It's like
It's the secret sauce.
it
It's
is.
just the magic.
And it's so central to Christian roots, but it's also so central to Buddhism. Is the suffering is the path to enlightenment, says the Buddha. That it's weaved in every single truthful set.
Right. It reminds me of your story at the beginning that you talked about how everyone wants to be seen. What I've learned is my pain wants to be seen.
100%.
My pain,
It's your younger self.
right. It needs to be witnessed. And so if I take that time, that's the leaning in. We're
Hmm.
running away. We don't want to see it. We've got our blinders on. No, see it. Ask it questions. Get curious about it. Sit with it. Love it. All of it. And nobody wants to do it. When you're chasing light and shadow scares you, why would you want to sit in shadow?
Hmm.
It is dark.
It's a beautiful visual.
It is scary. It is cold. And to sit there and some of my most sacred moments in my life is to sit in my shadow. Those dragons, not to run from them, to hug my dragons. Um, yeah, it's beautiful.
It's the most sacred space
Oh, it's so sacred.
I've ever been
I
in.
used to think light was the most sacred space. You have these experiences of light. Oh, I'll tell you what, shadow, ooh, that's a whole nother sacred.
Well, because it's the contrast. Uh, you have to step into the pain. If there's really pain there for you, you have to be willing to feel it and step into it to let more light in. You see this in the world. I know this is kind of a cliche thing, but the darkest hour is right before dawn. It's literally the darkest of the night. And then God loves to work in contrast. The world, the way of the world, the natural world works in these beautiful contrasts. I wouldn't appreciate the light as much
Mm-mm.
if it wasn't so dark. And let me say this, your experience probably is it definitely is true, obviously, but it's a little bit different because you've been through the gambit. Is that the
Yeah.
right word? You've been through the gambit. For some people, the experience is, yes, your pain is really painful. Your dad passed away, or you experienced trauma as a child, or your mom was never there for you. All this stuff is traumatic, and it's all traumatic. It's all painful. What's so beautiful that I've seen is even some really painful things. It's like when you've done the work to find emotional balance first, and then you are willing to feel the pain. The mind, Satan or the mind or the ego, tells you this is going to be horrific. But
Absolutely
when you
horrific.
But when you and yours probably because you've been through the gamut, so you might be a different exception. But for most people, when they're fully ready and the brain is saying, Satan is saying, this is going to be so horrible, and then when they actually step into it and feel it, yes, it's uncomfortable, yes, it's painful, but it's like, oh,
Is that all you got?
is exactly.
Is that all you've got? Bring it
So such a
on.
beautiful truth of like your spirit is the truth. The physical brain is not the truth. It will tell you that because this is built. The triggers and your painful experiences have built up so much. It's like I get it. I get why we perceive it as being like am I gonna die? I might die.
Yeah, I have
This
sat
fear of like I'm gonna die. It's like
or yeah, I mean,
now it's horrific for people when they're not ready. That's why I'm so big on not punching through to get to this pain. You gotta like everyone wants to skip the patience and the okay, I've got to deal with this anxiety first. I got to figure out my relationship first. I gotta even though I know what pain is down there, I gotta do all of these other things, Corey, or this is stupid. I just want to get there and get it finished. It's like, no. The the there is it's like knowing the treasure is 20 feet below you, and I'm just gonna I'm just gonna take the shortcut or whatever and dig, and I don't know. I'm gonna take some shortcut to dig around it. But it's you have to slowly dig, because guess what? 10 feet down, there's a key, and you need that key. And that key is gonna help you open the treasure chest.
Yes.
And so don't I again I know I'm being repetitive for a reason. This is something that I just see all the time, of people trying to skip these
Right.
natural steps. And
Well, I hate hearing the analogy of we're like an onion, right? With these layers. And like you said,
that's gonna make me cry.
so many people come
So
into your
corny.
office and go, good dad joke.
So dumb.
They go, I want to get to the core of this. And you're like, oh, dude, we've got this level and this layer and this layer and this layer, and you cannot fast track it.
No.
And
No.
and I tried. I mean, I sat in sacred ceremony with assisted medicines to literally try to purge this out of me. And when you talk about thinking you're going to die, I assure you,
It's a
you
real
are
yeah.
vomiting. You are all of it. And you're going, and I'm supposed to keep going towards this pain. And you have ingested something to help dive you down to the subconscious of your psyche. That's scary.
100%.
And you don't have to do that. But remember, I told you guys, I've tried it all. Okay, maybe not all, but I've tried a lot because I was so desperate, and I would try so many different things and they weren't working. And I was running out of options. And let me tell you what's hope when you start getting hopeless is when you are trying things that are so extreme and they still aren't quote unquote working.
I want to get your thoughts on that.
Ooh.
Why do you think, because you're the expert in this compared to me for sure. Why do you think that you mentioned you tried these such extreme things to heal and they just weren't working?
I was desperate.
What's your theory on like why it wasn't working?
I was in my own way.
What does that mean, you were in your own way?
I wasn't surrendering. I was still trying to control the outcome. I was still, like I said, it wasn't until I pulled the pin and the grenade and blew it all up and just fully turned everything over to my higher power. I was like, Kimberly can do A, B, C, and D. Kimberly will try this and this and this. And I would see people going into these things and they would work and they would miraculously work, and they were not. It was like banging my head up against a wall because I was not ready to let go. I was like, okay, I was like negotiating.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'll do this, but I still got to keep my family intact. Or I'll do this, but my marriage is still going to definitely make it. And until I said, fine. Oh,
well,
let it all go.
Who wouldn't do that? That is such a hard thing to do.
I had
Are you kidding me?
let it all go, no matter what it was. And I wasn't willing to let go of another marriage.
And it was you had to let go of your family, basically.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to say that, or it's powerful to say that, because this was going back to what you were saying earlier. Like, I had to even let go of my family in order for me to heal. And that breaks me up, because I know that had an impact on my family. Wow.
And yet, fast forward 11 months later, my family's never been better. Minus my little one that's suffering just some remnants of divorce, right? But my kids respect me now. My daughter looks at me totally different because she's like, you're not a pushover and you're not letting this stuff happen to you anymore. Like, she can cognitively go, I see what my mom was doing. She was trying to keep our family together, but the family was already broken. It was like I was living with a corpse and every day waking up, dressing it up. Even though I knew in my heart it was done and dead, I was not willing to let it go. And so, yeah, that's the whole like, thy will be done, not what Kimberly wants. And I'm a completely different person. My life looks completely different in such exponentially better, healthier ways. And I was holding on to all this toxic, unhealthy disaster, praying for it to just miraculously turn from mold to a flower patch. You know what I mean? It was like, nope, got to burn it all down.
Do you
Got to
know-
let it all die. And I was not willing to go through another death and rebirth again.
Mm.
There's too many in my life. There was too many. I thought there cannot be another big one like this. It's like you guys getting hit by a semi, getting rushed to the hospital, laying in the hospital bed with like all, you know, like the cartoon where you're like in the cast head to toe,
Mhm.
and then like barely getting out and getting hit by a train. And then like it just continually, these aren't little things, as you said. And we all have our stuff. I mean, I don't have the market on pain at all, but I just, until I was willing to trust and go, I guess I got to let this die too. You know how scary that is?
Are you kidding?
Do you have any idea to take something so precious and go, I'll let it die? Something you love so much?
Your family, your kids.
Yeah. As a mom, you just take it all. You go, I don't care. I'll take more pain. I'll
Well,
take this dysfunction.
You did care. You cared more than anything.
Yeah. And yet it's all, you're kidding yourself. You're literally kidding yourself trying to keep something together that you know is over or not healthy for anyone involved. So to be brave enough to stand up and go, I don't know how I'm going to do this financially. I don't know how I'm going to do this emotionally. I don't know how my kids are going to make it.
And is like my husband going to leave me? Is my kids going to like, are they going
Right.
to be okay? These are real things that people go through all the time. I've been through that. I didn't have to sacrifice nearly as much as you did, because when I was going through my suffering and working through my pain, I was single. But the sacrifice was huge. I think it always is for people in their own world and in their own way.
No one's pain hurts more than someone else's pain.
Sure. But my point in saying that is that your story is literally a story of hope and truth. You already know this. People need to hear this. And you're, like you said, you're just getting started.
You're too kind.
And so thank you for sharing so much of that. More to come, more to dive into in that for sure. There's this thing that's been coming up repeatedly as we've been talking, and I'm hoping that you haven't heard of it because I want to impress you.
I'll play dumb.
I'm just kidding.
What, Corey?
I think you have, because it's an ancient symbol that's really powerful. And this ancient symbol is called, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Ouroboros. It is the visual of a snake, the snake in a circle eating its own tail. Okay. Now, in the story of Adam and Eve, the Bible story, or in Christian philosophy, the snake represents Satan or evil. But there's another cool meaning to this Ouroboros, that it represents time. Okay, so this is a bit of a shift from what we've been talking about. This isn't exactly going to weave in. So this snake, this Ouroboros, is a symbol of it's evil or Satan, and also it's a strong symbol of time. And so evil or thoughts or Satan are constantly using time to get us away from healing, to get us away from the present moment of stillness. How does this manifest itself? One of the biggest ways that I've seen it manifest itself is you'll have a thought come up that says, you need to pay your credit card, or you need your money, your bank account. You're going to end up with no money or something. And then you have another thought that comes in that says like, you need to address this right now. And the reality is like, you're in the middle of a podcast. You're in the middle of a conversation with your friend. And it's like, this is not important when I look at it objectively, but there's so much urgency to it that it's constantly taking me out of my present moment or my healing journey. Okay. So this is a form of anxiety and pressure. And so why am I bringing this up? Well, this goes back to, I think, what a lot of people deal with, what stops them from not being able to be ready, from what we talked about, to heal. The importance of like, so the practical application is like, how can I manage my thoughts, or how can I control my thoughts a little bit better so that they're not controlling me? My recommendation is, if you don't have a set time in your day to where you are being able to put these thoughts on the shelf and process them later, these thoughts are going to consume your day and they will not go away. You have to recognize the Ouroboros, the influence of time taking you out of your moment. You have to recognize that, and you have to put it on the shelf and address it later when the time is right. There's definitely more I want to say about this, but I want to get your thoughts. Any thoughts
No,
coming up for you?
I love that. That's such good teaching. And I grew up with the serpent beguiled you, right? It's all about this illusion, this um
Mm-hmm.
trickster. And I love the symbolism of both. And then I have a third one, right? Because I was sharing with you earlier, this Sunday, I was in deep meditation in the grass
Mm-hmm.
and was about at least 20 minutes into it. And I felt something on my foot. And I was like, ooh. And I opened my eyes. Now, I had on headphones, noise canceling headphones. So I can't hear anything outside me. So it's not like I'm sitting there and I can hear something. I just felt it. And when you're deep in meditation, kind of pulled me out. And I looked down, I'm barefoot, and there's a huge snake slithering across my foot. Let me tell you who does not like snakes. I about lost it. I was like, this snake just came across my foot. What just happened? And normally I would scream, I would cause a scene, I would run inside, I'd be like, I'm done, I'm out. And there was immediate impression of pay attention. Pay attention. And I'm not a big sign seeker or omen.
We have been aligned lately. Jeez.
And so I see this snake. I look at my foot. And then, like I said, that fear immediately dissipated because it was, oh, wait, this is a moment. I have to actually pay attention. So I did everything I could to calm my nervous system and just close my eyes and try to go back in. And the thought I had was, I am in deep transformation right here, right now. And just as a snake sheds its skin, I am literally shedding this skin of sadness and despair and depression and anxiety and such deep seated pain that I thought would literally get the best of me. And this moment that normally would have just completely ruined my day turned into such a beautiful gift. And I thought, I just got that. Like that just came like this little gift. And it was like, yeah, just this little love note from, I mean, I wish it wouldn't have been a snake. Like, how about like a beautiful little butterfly come and like land on my finger? No, I had to feel the snake, get shocked, have the whole thing. And so then I just sat for the next 15, 20 minutes and I just had such gratitude, like, wow, this is real. I'm really in this. Like, I'm doing this with the help of so many wonderful friends, so many, I mean, people I can see, people I can't see. And here I am on this beautiful healing journey that is just so, it's magical.
It is magical.
It's just magical.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So yeah, feeling the snake this week. Feeling snake energy big.
I'm sensing someone listening to this in this moment saying this or thinking this thing, which is like, I'm not buying that. Like, this is like,
Making this up.
she's just thinking these things. She's just no, like the Corey and Kimberly have been talking about this. Like,
Yeah.
she's just thinking of these things, and good for her. She's having a good experience, but it was just a snake.
Right.
And how does she know that it was actually this like meaningful, deeper meaning,
I'm full of it.
experience? Person listening, when you are not approaching these things from a place of intellect, what you're thinking and what your process is an intellectual response. So when we approach things like this intellectually, that's how we view it. But when we go beyond thinking and we go into experience and we go into stillness, this is the truth of symbolism, of God, of this is where all truth comes from. And so you have to experience it on your own. And that's what you are a great example of. And that's what that's emerging as the biggest theme of all of the podcasts that we have been talking about so far. So it's okay to respond that way, but going beyond thought should be the goal of all of our life if we want to have a meaningful and fulfilling life. Period.
Person listening.
Tyrone is his name.
Person listening, I feel you. I get it. I was there. Not only did I hear this stuff, and I called so much bull. And I judged, and I rolled my eyes, and I labeled crazy, woo-woo, whatever. But I invite you, like Corey said, to, if you can, get out of here and come to your heart and really, really, really check in with your heart and try to feel whatever it is that your spirit is trying to tell you. Not what I'm saying, well, not what Corey's saying, because there is a message just for you. And to follow it and to trust it and to tell your brain, thank you, brain, for sharing. But I'm going to put you aside and I'm going to try this and just try to listen from my heart. And I promise you, whether it's little or big, something will come of it. Something will.
And it's going to say, you are meant to do great things in your life. Try to learn how to be more still. And all of us are learning how to listen continually, for sure. Most people that are even willing or interested in these topics or listening to this, they are more likely to be an emotional person than not. They're more likely to be a more emotional person than the average. This is why I love my job. I truly believe I see the most beautiful people in the world. Why? Because generally speaking, they're more emotional, which sucks a little bit because you are more affected by things in life. You experience more pain.
Sure.
Pain hits harder.
You're more sensitive.
What's wrong with me? This shouldn't hurt this much. I shouldn't be this upset about this. This shouldn't be hurting this much. It's like, no, you should. You came into the world this way. This is a part of your actual true self. So 2 questions around this that I think we need to talk about. You wrote this one that's so cool. What are the stigmas or stereotypes for being a more emotional person?
Oh, you're crazy.
There's something wrong with me.
For sure.
I'm crazy.
You're unhinged.
I'm not good in relationships.
Nope.
I care too much. It's worth reading this again.
You're totally imbalanced. You're too sensitive. It's like the one thing that makes you so beautiful is just like tortures you.
I am flawed. I am inadequate. I'm not good enough. There's something fundamentally wrong with who I am. And it's led me to have a strong desire to like withdraw and to isolate and to just be alone. So it leads to a lot of shame, a lot of beliefs and feelings that there's something wrong with me and I'm not good enough. Um, so in contrast, what are the gifts that come from being an emotional human being? What are the gifts that come from being more emotional than maybe the average person?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking both of us, but
Yeah,
I'm looking at you.
I know. Because I'm sitting here thinking of, especially as a man, you're one of the most emotionally sensitive men I know. And it is,
I am sensitive.
yeah.
I'm sensitive
So,
to you saying that.
well, I
I'm just
bet.
kidding.
So,
Yeah,
like, as you
I'm an
read
emotional
that,
man.
yeah, you are. That's why we're friends. That's why I keep you around, because you can feel. So, especially as a man, like when you read that list, I am flawed. Have you felt that way before because you are an emotional man?
Yeah.
Really?
Not recently, but definitely in my life, I for sure have felt that. Yeah, this was the suffering of my childhood with my mom.
Right.
I love my mom. My mom has literally given me. She has helped me develop all of the gifts. All of my best gifts have come from my mom through the suffering of our relationship growing up, and her not knowing how to accept me, and her being harsh. And this was a deep pain that I didn't, yeah, deep pain of like, I don't know if this was never conscious, but this was definitely how I felt. There must be something wrong with me if my own mom can't
Mm.
love me. If there's anyone that's supposed to love me, it's supposed to be my mom. I never consciously said that. Absolutely, that's how I felt until I was my late 20s. Finally started to figure it out as I started seeing you. I'm just kidding. But it was honestly, partially because of that. That was when I started to go through my own healing, and it was years process, but um, you did help me with that, by the way.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I was that mom.
No, exactly.
And so the guilt I had for projecting my pain all over to my beautiful son who's innocent. I mean, I could literally, if he was sitting here right here, I bet you, I don't know for sure, but I bet you he would say very similar things. So as a
Well,
mom,
we saw each other,
yeah.
so just being seen, and you were one of many women at the time. One of my good friends, Wesley, was probably one of the first who ever saw me and actually loved me. The first woman, that might not be true. My stepmom, I felt that from. She was probably the first, to be honest. Wesley, many other women. And I've told you this, it still means so much to me. My wife, when I feel this acceptance from being emotional, being a man, being sensitive, feeling that, oh my gosh, it just like, it means everything to me. So meaningful. Even though I've healed from this void and this wound from my mom, it's still a special, it's part of the gift that comes from healing. I would not appreciate that as much from women if I did not get that from my own mom. There's no pain there anymore, mom. But the
Mm.
gift is there, that we were talking about. So what are the gifts that come from being more emotional? Well, it sucks to experience more pain, but if you can start to heal from that, the love is deeper. You cannot separate. So the love is deeper. You cannot separate emotion and spirit. More emotionally people, they see things more clearly spiritually, and they see things that matter more in life than being not. Now we've both been through this process. You have to go through this process of the letting go process so that these spiritual gifts and these gifts that come from being more emotional start to manifest themselves and start to come out more. And that's when pain truly feels like a gift. We both have experienced that.
Well, it's the willingness to feel.
Yep.
So if you're going to feel these emotions versus people that shove the emotions or repress the emotions, I'm not going there. They're not going to feel the gift on the other side. They've numbed out, like right here. They kind of stay neutral. But if you're willing to go to the depths, you're going to feel the most beautiful spiritual gifts, like because you've increased the capacity of being able to feel. Like your bandwidth is bigger.
100%.
So I'd much rather be the most emotional, unhinged, feeling woman all day long to be able to feel what I feel in those moments of stillness, to get the clarity, to get the, I wouldn't trade it.
And the message is everyone is emotional. It's the makeup of the spirit. Is the spirit produces emotions. So everyone has a spirit in them and therefore feels. So going through pain has made me more emotional. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm struggling more. It means that I'm seeing more. It means that I'm loving more. So that is the gift of emotions.
Well said. Well said.
We are going to have a special podcast next time. We're going to be talking about nature, and we're going to invite one of our good friends to come on.
Wait till you meet Ellie.
She is the completion of this. This isn't a duo. Well, it is.
No, she is.
But it's a trio.
It's such a trio, you guys. Wait,
So
Ellie is medicine.
We're going to be talking about nature and how to integrate that into our life and learn from it and have that be a part of our spiritual practice. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, thank you. It's always just a joy.
If you have benefited from this podcast in any way, it would mean the world to us to have you subscribe, to allow us to keep it going and bring on inspirational human beings.